Now let's talk about another important feature of a good KPI, which is alignment. And here we will talk about what does it mean to be aligned, and I'll show you a case study that you will be asked to solve in order to check whether there is an alignment and what you would have to do in order to achieve alignment between KPIs. But let's start with a short definition of alignment. So the general definition of alignment is that you have the things arranged in a straight line in a correct relative position. And for business, it usually means that the goals are connected in the proper manner and actions are coordinated. Obviously, usually it means connected with the main goal of the business. Now for KPIs, when we are talking about that they are aligned, it means that they are connected with the strategy and strategic goals. So there is a clear link between them and the strategic goals. If KPIs are aligned, they will tell you whether you're close to achieving the business goals or not. The KPIs should be also aligned between each other. So if they're aligned with the strategic goals and strategy, it means that also they should be somehow linked between each other. In other words, the alignments helps you achieve the strategic goals of the company and are crucial if you want to make sure that the whole company is moving in the right direction. Now, let's have a look at an example of a motivation system based on KPIs given to the board members. So first of all, the company has 3 strategic goals. So market capitalization, operational cash flow, and low debt level. And the supervisory board has created the following motivation system based on the following KPIs. So the CEO is judged against market capitalization, sales director against sales value, marketing director against sales value and market share. R&D director KPIs is just the number of products introduced, and the chief operating officer has 1 KPI cost per unit. Obviously, those KPIs are not aligned with the 3 strategic goals that we have mentioned. On top of that, they are not aligned between each other. So there's no alignment between what the R&D director does with the sales director and with what the CEO does. So please pause now the lecture and try on a paper with pencil or pen to create a version of the KPIs for the motivation system for this board members that will be aligned with the strategic goals mentioned below. So market cap, cash flow from the operational activities, and low debt. Once you are done with that, move on to the next lecture where I will show you the solution to this case study. Alignment of KPIs solution. So just as a reminder, we were supposed to check whether there is an alignment between the business goals and the KPIs given to the board members and to create a version that is much better than what we have. So there were 3 strategic goals: market cap, operational cash flow, low debt level, and we had the following KPIs given to each and every board member. Now let's have a look at one of the version of the motivation system that is aligned and looks a little bit better than what we have here. So just as a reminder, we have 3 strategic goals, and then let's see how we would give the goals to each and every of these board members. So the first person to start with is obviously the CEO. So here we could have the following KPIs. So first of all, market cap. So this is directly the strategic goals. EBITDA, which is linked to the market cap. Usually market cap is heavily depending on EBITDA. You can present the market cap in a sense as a multiplication of EBITDA. So sometimes it's 8, sometimes it's 10 times the EBITDA. Then debt to equity, it's relating to the low debt level. And then we've got also operational cash flow to EBITDA, which is referring to the operational cash flow. So in other words, he should first take care of the EBITDA, so generate as high as possible EBITDA, then sell it well to the market, so explain to the investors that this EBITDA will be growing, and try from this EBITDA as much as possible to generate a cash flow that will help you also reduce the debt to equity level. So those 4 KPIs we could assign to the CEO. Now let's have a look what kind of KPIs we could assign to other board members. So in the case of the director, EBITDA, because this is his way to impact the market capitalization. We don't have the market capitalization directly because market capitalization is not only about generating the effect, but rather about selling it to the investors. But what he should take care of, it's obviously the percentage gross margin. This shows you that the business is promising and competitive. If it's high, usually it also impacts a higher market capitalization. And then we also added 2 KPIs that are related to operational cash flow and low debt level. So he cannot directly impact debt, but he can actually make sure that whatever we have sold, we will get money fast and that we don't keep too much of inventory. So this is his way to actually take care of the operational cash flow and low debt level. In the case of the marketing director, we have again EBITDA. As we said, this will impact the market capitalization, so the first goal. We didn't assign other things to him from the other strategic goals because he has no impact. However, we put 3 longer term KPIs, so market share. This will also help the market capitalization, because if we have leading market share and growing, this will cause the analysts and also the investors to think more optimistically about our business. And then we have obviously brand awareness and net promoter score on our brand as something which causes our brand to be more sustainable in the mid-term and long term. Now, when we look at the R&D director, you will see that we have a beta here as well. However, this is limited only to the new products defined by the things that we have introduced in the last 3 years. We also added another KPI, so the growth of sales on the new products. So we don't only want to have products that generate interesting EBITDA, but also that they grow fast. And this growth will obviously help the market cap as well, because we will sell it to the investors and to the analysts as a promising growth in our EBITDA. So when they are modeling our business in the analysis, they will have to put additional growth assumed due to the fact that we have a growth of new products. And finally, we have the COO, so the Chief Operating Officer. So here we would look at the 4 things. So again, EBITDA, but only on the products created in our own factories. So there are things that we buy and sell, so like goods, and there are things that we produce. So he is judged only against the things he produces in our factory, and the percentage EBITDA as a way to take care of the market cap as well. So EBITDA on the products created and percentage EBITDA are related to the market cap. And then we have 2 additional KPIs that help us with the other 2 strategic goals, so operational cash flow and low debt level. So if we pay later our suppliers and we try to keep low inventory, especially work in progress and raw materials, which is within the power of the Chief Operating Officer, then obviously we'll have a higher operational cash flow and we will be able to lower our debt. So as you can see, what we did here, we started from the CEO and then we cascaded some of his KPIs to other board members, limited obviously to the area of impact. So for example, we had everywhere EBITDA. However, in the case of the R&D director and the CEO, it was limited to the area where they can impact. And when we could not directly put strategic goals as a KPI for a specific person, like it was, for example, in the case of the sales director and the operational cash flow, we made sure that we put another KPI that is somehow linked to that. So it's contributing positively or negatively to the strategic goal. So as you can see, this is what you can do if you want to achieve alignments. If you have a little bit different version or you have some other proposals and you would like me to have a look at this, please send it to me. I'm more than happy to give you feedback on that as well.